So moving forward into 13.4, this is about kinds of torts. Tort law is set up to remedy these wrongs when you have these civil wrongs. And so there's a ton of different types of cases. And 13.5 and all of its subsidiaries cover all of the different kinds of torts. So let's just roll right into it. 13.5 is about intentional torts. Intentional torts are quite simply those civil wrongs that are done intentionally. It's those interfering with the person, such as battery, assault, false imprisonment, or those interfering with property, such as trespass and conversion, right? That is when somebody actually does something to somebody else intentionally and it creates some sort of harm or injury. Now, it's possible that that could also be a criminal offense, but just because it's a criminal offense doesn't mean it is no longer a civil offense or a tort. But we get into the nuances of each of these things and we see, kind of the major categories of intentional torts. 13.5.1 is all about the intentional tort of battery. So, battery is harmful, offensive touching of another's person. This is based on everybody's right to be free from such conduct. If somebody engages in that behavior, then that is potentially the tort of battery. Now, again, could also be a criminal offense. As we've talked before, in Maryland, we don't use the term battery anymore. We use the term assault, and assault can either be done by battery, which is the physical touching, or by assault, which is the threat of physical harm. That brings us to 13.5.2, which is actually about assault, and this is where the true definition of assault matters from a civil context. An assault is an act that creates in a person the immediate fear of attempted battery. So threatening another person is an assault. Threatening a person, assault. Hitting a person, battery. Pretty simple distinction there, but both are intentional torts. Further, there is 13.5.3, which is the intentional tort of false imprisonment. It's holding a person against a person's will without legal authority. I think we're pretty self-explanatory in that regard. There's also the intentional torts against property. Those are the intentional torts against the person that we went over. 13.5.4 deals with one against property. That's trespass to land. That's pretty simple. We all understand what that means to trespass on the land of another. That's to enter into somebody's land without there being a permission to do so. That's quite simply the tort of trespass to land. 13.5.5 deals with the intentional tort of conversion, and that is the civil version of theft. That is when you take the property of another person and you make it your own. That is a crime, but is also a civil offense, and that can be punishable under the law of torts. We're going to be moving into 13.5.6 and forward, and that's about damages and negligence, and we will deal with that in the next video.